When an unidentified package surfaced at an airport, it typically spelled trouble, prompting airport officials to exercise caution and call in experts for thorough inspection. Such crates often concealed various unpleasant surprises. However, the discovery made by employees at two separate international airports on routine safety inspections set off an astonishing chain of events that no one could have anticipated. In March of 2017, personnel at Beirut Rafik Hariri International Airport came across a small, inadequately labeled wooden crate during their routine checks. The package was intended for war-torn Syria, with no sender information provided, raising suspicions. To their shock, the crate contained 3 Siberian tiger cubs, crammed into the confined space where they could barely stand. Their condition was even more distressing than it appeared. The young tigers were severely malnourished, dehydrated, and infested with maggots. The crate's interior was coated with bodily fluids, highlighting the dire state of the animals. Astonishingly, this shocking situation was technically legal, thanks to animal trafficking laws designed to facilitate access to tigers by zoos. Investigations revealed that a zoo in Ukraine had shipped the tigers to Samir al-Husseinawi Zoo in Damascus as part of a dubious arrangement. Customs regulations allowed the shipping of tigers and other exotic animals. However, bureaucratic complications held up the tigers at the Beirut airport, primarily because the crate lacked proper labeling, including this side-up arrows. This delay provided an opportunity for action. Animal rescue group Animals Lebanon, AL, petitioned a local judge for permission to open the crate after the tigers had spent a week at the airport. Lebanese authorities ordered the release of the cubs to Animals Lebanon due to significant concerns for their health and welfare. AL celebrated this decision but faced a daunting task ahead. Specialized veterinarians examined the cubs and discovered severe issues, including raw and red paw pads from urine exposure, along with similar conditions on their back legs and thighs. AL's dedicated team cleaned, vaccinated, and disinfected the cubs, ensuring their well-being. Once the tigers were cleaned and on the path to recovery, AL released them into a quarantined area where they could stretch their legs, enjoy a hearty meal, and even engage in some playful activities. However, their owner soon reappeared. Each of the tigers was valued at thousands of dollars, and the buyer was unwilling to forfeit his investment or the potential profits it could yield. He demanded the return of his tigers, but the charity was not ready to concede. Siberian tigers are protected under the Convention on International Trade of Endangered Species, CITES. AL stated on Facebook, "They can only be traded under very specific circumstances and only when a number of other conditions are met." The crate in which the cubs were confined clearly did not meet these required conditions, giving AL a strong case to retain custody of the tigers. They were prepared to navigate the bureaucracy and continue ensuring the well-being of the tigers. The Ministry of Agriculture, Judge of Urgent Matters, and Customs have all made the right decisions, AL noted. Now they need to work together to prevent these tigers from becoming part of the multi-billion-dollar wildlife trafficking industry. The battle to protect these magnificent creatures and uphold the law was far from over. For 4 long months, Animals Lebanon, AL, found themselves embroiled in a bitter legal battle for the custody of the tiger cubs. However, on June 7, authorities finally granted permission for the tigers to be permanently relocated to France. On a Monday evening, AL carefully loaded May, Antoine, and Tanya into spacious crates, marking the beginning of their journey to a new and better life. The tiger cubs embarked on their journey to the Tombe de Terre d'Aquil sanctuary near Lyon, France, via a special cargo plane. This sanctuary would provide them with a safe and secure environment, far removed from the cruel world of animal trafficking that had caused them so much suffering. Their story, although remarkable, was not unique in the grim landscape of this multi-billion-dollar industry. The horrors of the animal trafficking industry had plagued countless creatures for years. In March of 2018, another distressing incident unfolded at Tijuana International Airport in Mexico, echoing the ordeal of the tiger cubs in Beirut. At the airport, vigilant canine units detected an unmarked box riddled with air holes. Airport officers seized the suspicious package and made a shocking discovery inside: wood shavings and 2 additional surprises. Looking up at the officers were a jaguar and a tiger cub, both visibly terrified, severely undernourished, and utterly exhausted. Policía Federal de Mexico reported on Facebook that both animals were endangered species due to illegal hunting for their valuable skins. Similar to the cubs intercepted in Beirut, these unfortunate cubs had no identifiable destination or sender. Authorities speculated that they might have been destined for a zoo or circus, but another group suggested an even more distressing possibility. Prashant Ketan, CEO of Born Free USA, an animal advocacy nonprofit, raised the alarming possibility that animals smuggled through Mexico were frequently sold as pets. The fate of these two adorable cubs remained unknown at that moment. In the United States, regulations didn't entirely prohibit the transportation of big cats, making it difficult to combat the existence of this market. Prashant expressed his concern, stating, "It's hard for me to judge that this market exists when the government enables people to do it as a business. A lamentable reality indeed." Fortunately, within the dark realm of the animal trade, organizations like Animals Lebanon continue to fight relentlessly for the defenseless cubs. In a world where the odds are stacked against tigers, allies like AL are more essential than ever. On January 28, 2018, a man named Alexei Kadyev encountered a peculiar and puzzling situation when he attempted to leave his home. To his bewilderment, his front door wouldn't budge, blocking his way. It was an unusual predicament, even in the remote Siberian village of Solontsovy, where snow and wildlife were commonplace. Alexei's neighbor Galina recounted the unusual occurrence, stating he wanted to go out to the yard, but this door was pressed by someone from outside. As he strained to listen through a crack in the door, he heard an eerie sound, a low growl. Alexei cautiously peered outside and was met with an astonishing sight. Right outside his front door stood a fully grown Siberian tiger. The question that loomed was, how did this majestic creature end up there? Overwhelmed and frightened, Alexei promptly retreated indoors and made an emergency call to the Ministry of Natural Resources of Khabarovsk. However, due to the treacherous Siberian roads in winter, the rescue team's arrival was considerably delayed. The tiger spent the entire day on Alexei's porch as they awaited the arrival of the emergency team, Galina recounted. Fortunately, when the rescuers reached the scene, they managed to tranquilize the large cat and conduct a thorough examination. The tiger was identified as a 10-year-old, and her health issues were more serious than initially thought. Unlike other Siberian tigers, this particular one was missing her front teeth and suffered from severe gum infections, which likely made eating a challenge, explaining her exhaustion. The question now was how to provide the necessary care for her. With time being of the essence, the rescue team began administering urgent treatment while transporting the tiger to the nearby Amur Tiger Center, the only place equipped to save her. Their first priority was to check for gunshot wounds or knife injuries that might indicate she had been hunted, but no such signs were found. Instead, it became apparent that malnutrition had taken its toll. Had this tiger ventured into Alexei's neighborhood out of sheer desperation? The rescuers speculated that she had. Sergei Aramilev, the director of the Amur Tiger Center, noted the tigress behaved absolutely peacefully, as if she was waiting for human help. However, upon arrival at the center, the tiger's demeanor shifted and she reverted to her wild instincts, making it difficult for anyone to approach her. Sergei explained, "The animal, though she came for help, will not allow us to approach her. Despite her lack of teeth, she still had her formidable claws. This presented a challenging dilemma, as anesthetizing her in her fragile state could be lethal, yet active treatment was impossible without sedation. It seemed like an impossible situation. Adding to the complexity of the situation was the fact that this tiger was a member of a critically endangered breed. The Siberian tiger population in eastern Russia was estimated to be around 500 individuals, making every individual, especially females, crucial for the species' survival. Desperate times called for desperate measures. Despite the risks associated with anesthetics, the medical team administered sedatives remotely, allowing them to get closer to the tiger if necessary. Then, they held their breath, hoping for a breakthrough. "We really hope that the tigress will pick herself up and survive," Sergei said. "For our part, we are doing everything possible." And then, a glimmer of hope emerged. They offered the tiger antibiotic-laced mashed meat, a food source she had been unable to consume before. To their surprise, she decided to give meat a try again. Could this be a turning point in her recovery? Sadly, it wasn't a sustained success, and in early February, the tiger stopped eating once more. Viktor Kuzmenko, another executive at the rescue center, remarked she was in a hopeless state. There was no fat on her. Age and illnesses took over, Viktor added with a heavy heart. The illness had natural origins, and despite the veterinarian's best efforts, it was a battle she had to face alone. Regrettably, on February 10, just 2 weeks after the feeble tiger was found on Alexei's doorstep, the animal succumbed to her ailments at the rescue center. Nothing could have saved her, Viktor concluded. While global efforts to preserve tiger populations have yielded some positive results in recent years, it remains a tragic reality that this particular tiger could not be saved. Her story serves as a poignant reminder of the urgent need to do everything within our power to protect these magnificent creatures.